Well, now we can talk to another star guest. Once a trainee accountant with the Daily Express, a journalist then on local newspapers, he started his musical career busking around London and then playing at folk venues on open mic nights alongside the likes of John Martin, Ralph McTell, Martin Carthy and Julie Felix. But after the folk scene proved not to be his preference, in 1972 he formed Cockney Rebel.
Mr. Soft, turn around and fast forward to watch. Come up and see me, make me smile. Running wild.
He's been in the music business for an incredible 50 years. We can talk to the irrepressible Steve Harley. Steve and his acoustic band will be playing live at the Eric Morecambe Centre in Harpenden this coming Saturday, May the 20th. Steve, welcome. How are you?
Mike, yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Very busy touring, doing what I love doing most of all.
Wanted to ask you about that. You've just come back from Holland and Belgium, Ireland and Denmark. What's touring life like for you after all these years?
Well, it's 50 years this year, and so I'm pretty used to it. Yeah, it's wonderful. You have to have the right partner to do what we do. Lots of guys fall by the wayside when they're in their 20s and 30s because the person at home can't deal with life without him or her, you know. But I met fabulous Dorothy and got lucky, and she runs quite a big property. She's fine without me. I mean, I'm away a lot, but we live quite independent lives. I just love it. I like hotels. I even like airports to a point because I know I'm going somewhere. It's all a bit of an adventure, you know?
But there's probably two sides to you because I know you love your children and your grandchildren are very dear to you now too.
Yeah, I've got 3 grandchildren and a 4th one due any minute now. My daughter's about to have her 2nd one tomorrow, the next day. Yes, life's good. And of course, I absolutely adore them. My son and daughter-in-law and 2 grandchildren were here when I got home at the weekend. I just got home and they were here for the weekend, staying at our house for the bank holiday. And it was just wonderful. Yeah, of course I do. But they know what I do. It's the life. They all know that I play concerts.
And being on stage, you make it look so effortless and so smooth. Does that all still come pretty naturally, or do you have to rehearse hard before a tour and then really focus and concentrate every minute on stage?
Well, we rehearse the music, obviously. We're professionals. It's rehearsed and fine-tuned. But then again, as you know, and all your listeners that know me at all know, there's quite a lot of improvisation. I give musicians a chance because they're brilliant players. This acoustic quartet that we're out with, they're just virtuoso players. And so I've got to allow them to have space to show off, as it were. And they love it. But I don't rehearse my part. I rehearse my guitar's lyrics, but yeah, I do find it quite easy, to be honest, Mike. I'm not a show-off. I'm quite conservative with a small c in real life.
Well, that's interesting because I think you give quite a lot of yourself on stage to the audience. Be yourself, but also give yourself.
Yeah, I'm totally natural, as they know. There's no showbiz in me at all. I just come alive when the light hits me. I dress in the street like wherever we go, wherever we are, I look like a geography teacher. I don't look like a rock star. I'm alive when the light hits me and you hear a bit of applause and you think, okay, this is why we do it. Let's make people happy. Let's send them away in 2.5 hours' time.
And do you look around the audience during those first 2 or 3 songs and numbers and try to weigh them up between songs, seeing how they're responding and seeing how you can make that connection even more intimate?
Well, you're asking sort of trade secrets here. With the acoustic band, we do play smaller, intimate venues, and I do get the chance to see faces. And I do a chance during the first few numbers to weigh up what's going on, you know, what's happening out there. Is there anything familiar to me? Is it? You might spot something that's going to come into a bit of a chat later on in that set. You know, I talk a little bit during the acoustic shows and tell an anecdote or 3. I never know what they're going to be. I don't rehearse that. That's just off on the hoof, you know.
Well, I want to play some music by you. Obviously, it's BBC Three Counties Radio. Could I play a track from the 2010 album Stranger Comes to Town and Faith and Virtue?
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
This is about living a life based on, say, repetition and maybe not exploring a bolder life and pushing the boat out.
I don't like to say too much about what lyrics are about because I sometimes don't know myself. You know, you come up with them and you record them. That other people have to work it out, really. I like to hear other people's ideas.
Steve Harley and a song called Faith and Virtue. And you can see Steve with his acoustic band this coming Saturday, the 20th of May, at the Eric Morecambe Centre in Harpenden. Then again on Thursday, the 8th of June, at the Beck Theatre in Hayes in West London. And the band are on violin and guitar, Barry Wickens. Also on guitar, lead guitar, Dave Delary. And Ollie Hayhurst is on double bass.
We're playing several tracks from what I call the new album. It's 3 years old now, but uncovered. I'm really proud of it. And it was released 3 weeks before the door slammed. And so I never had a chance for nearly 2 years to promote it properly. It's a really interesting album.
Certainly is, and I'll come to a track on there in a moment, but obviously you've got to play standards like Judy Teen, Mr. Soft, Mr. Raffles, Man It Was Mean, Sebastian and Make Me Smile. But you have such a vast collection of songs, as you say, going back 50 years. How do you select what else to play?
Well, we do vary it. In the tour bus coming home from Belgium, in the bus coming back through the Channel Tunnel, one of the musicians said to me, can we try 2 different songs that he's been learning that we've never played? And I said, yeah, we can do that. So then I come home and I have to practice. I have to learn my own songs. I know it sounds absurd, but we don't carry every chord, every melody, every lyric in our heads for life. You have to remind yourself. So here I am, trying to relax for a few days, but then he throws these 2 songs at us and we all say, yeah, they'll really work in the acoustic band.
And is it the case that sometimes, you can fall in and out of love with a song, and a song that maybe you discarded 5-10 years ago, if they've suggested that, you might think, oh yeah, that's really good after all?
Well, interestingly, out of nowhere, we played 3 nights in London in March. And on the second day at soundcheck, I said to them, listen to this. And they all listened to this old song. It's a B-side. It's called Lay Me Down, Lord. And it's a B-side of a 70s hit single. And I've never played it in my life, ever. Not once, not even when it was recorded. And here we are doing it. And everyone's saying, that's like a new song. So, yeah, you're right. They can come alive out of nowhere. What you think is redundant, dead as a dodo, but you pick it up, you start working on it with your guitar or piano, and they come alive. And I'm famous for saying on stage, never the same twice, and it really is. I can change the set list in the dressing room.
I was talking to Midge-Ure earlier this year, and he was going to be going out on tour with 2 early Ultravox albums. So he was listening to them, and he said, I thought a couple of times, what was I thinking? What was I doing there? So it can be, I suppose, as well, on the other side of the coin, that some songs don't age well.
Yeah, top man Midge is one of my good friends. I don't mix much in the music business, but Midge and I have been mates since the mid-70s. And he's a top man. Top live show is brilliant. I go to see him. No, he's right. You revisit your old material and you either don't understand what it is you were writing, the lyrics, or you think, wow, that's interesting. I can't do that anymore. Let's throw that in the set.
So that uncovered album, your last release, wonderful album 2020, the opening track is called Compared With You, brackets, Your Eyes Don't Seem to Age. And this was a reworking of the Cockney Rebel track, which was called Love Compared With You, that came out in 1976 on Love's a Prima Donna. This is kind of you more reflective and more acoustic, is it? And is it a love song to Dorothy?
Well, yeah, it's become that. I wrote it before I knew her. We didn't meet until 79. But for 40 years, I've been singing it occasionally on stage. And, you close your eyes and you sing from the heart, you give it everything. And I realized that I was singing, and the first verse was the third verse, was the first verse repeated. And I just felt like a bit of a fraud. For 40 years, my mind's going, oh, no, they must be thinking, why didn't he write a third verse? And I don't know why I didn't, because in 76, I was a young man and I was prolific. But we were recording the Uncovered album. And my engineer, who is a fan and a friend, he said to me, why don't we rework Compared With You with a new verse? And I said, write a new verse? What? He bullied me for 10 days and we recorded the track. And one morning, and it was the morning that my dad was being cremated, 250 miles from where I was. He wanted a quiet one. My dad was being cremated at 8:30 that morning, and I sat out in July in 2019, and I sat out in the meadow of the farm, Studios farm. I came back in at 9 o'clock and said to him, I've written it. And it's strange how the muse comes to sit on your shoulder at certain times. Why? And I wrote those words for Dorothy. Yeah, we do age. He says, I know we've reached a stage, but your eyes don't seem to age. And it's true, you know. She's a beautiful woman, and you look at your wife or anybody's, you look at people and you think their eyes don't seem to age. And that's a fascinating thought.
I've been trying to write this line, but the years...
Steve Harley from his most recent album, Uncovered in 2020, and compared with you, brackets, your eyes don't seem to age. And that always goes down well live, I imagine, does it?
They ask for it. I mean, it's fascinating what people write to us to tell us with their anniversaries, their weddings and stuff, with the tracks they ask for. It's one of my songs, A Friend for Life. We get dozens a year telling us they're going to use it as they walk down the aisle or have their 50th wedding anniversary or 40th wedding anniversary. It is fascinating. I do see all these. They don't need my permission. They write asking for permission, but you don't need it. But it's lovely to hear.
So you can see Steve with his acoustic band this coming Saturday, the 20th of May, at the Eric Morecambe Centre in Harpenden. Book tickets on their website, the-emc.co.uk, the-emc.co.uk, or on Thursday, the 8th of June at the Beck Theatre in Hayes in West London. And their website address is becktheatre.org.uk. All the details on Steve Harley's own website, steveharley.com. You have, it seems to me, a very varied audience now, Steve. Probably fans that have seen you for 50 years or more. Yeah. And would it be them bringing their children and their grandchildren?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's fascinating, all of it. There's plenty of them that are coming that will say they saw us in 1973, you know, the original copy. And that's just a fantastic thing. And when I meet people now, you know, since the pandemic kicked in, I've kind of loosened up a lot and realised life's too short to be a pop star. I just want to be an ordinary guy that performs on stage. And I'm interested now, much more than I ever realised, in knowing what they think, what people think. Because it's all a haze to me. It's 50 years, 45 years ago. We've played thousands of shows over that period. But people that have been, fans that have been there, of course, they go to this show, that show. They have their memories. And I'm sort of saying, what was it like? You were at Hammersmith in 74, 75. What was it like? And it's not ego at all. It is simply a curiosity to find out what went through their minds when they were only, if I was 22, they were probably 16.
Well, I saw you with your much-delayed 70th birthday concert at the Stables in Milton Keynes in January of last year, 2022. An amazing concert. You brought on Eddie Reader. And then, of course, this wonderful finale, Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me. And you suggested that people could turn their phones on and film it, which they don't normally allow there. But you found in the front row a mum whose son was either 6 or 7, and you brought him onto the stage. I think you even asked him a couple of questions with the microphone in front of him. Do you remember that?
That was a major moment in my life because it was my 70th birthday a year late, and we had the gospel singers and the string quartet. It was a really major night for me. I love the Stables very much. Yeah, the little lad, yeah. They bring them along. I mean, my grandson is 7 now, and he's been watching me since he was 4. I love young people anyway. You know, I love young people.
You've got a Cockney Rebel tour in the autumn, haven't you, lined up as well?
Yeah. That's building by the day. Yeah, then most of them are not on sale yet, but there'll be a big rock band tour in November and December, yeah.
Back in the day, you got fantastic coverage in NME and Melody Maker and all the rest of it. Although you had to sort of pay your dues before you broke through.
I don't think we did pay our dues. I think that we were really lucky. I played about 5 or 6 with the original Cockney Rebel band, small venues, when we signed to EMI to make 3 albums. I didn't do a lot of schlepping about in a beaten-up old van, you know. It kind of happened very quickly for us. And that may have been against me because some of the music press gave me a hard ride. It didn't bother me. It walked off a duck's back.
Why did they do that?
Well, I'd been a bona fide reporter, you know. I mean, I was 4 years as a newspaper reporter, from 17 to 20 and a half, 3.5 years. I was a news reporter. In those days, a lot of them were wannabe musicians, and I was successful very quickly. There was an element of resentment from some of them, I felt, and I do to this day. They put you through the mill and you just have to live with it. It's not a problem. Here I am, I'm 50 years on. Mike, I wake up every day of my life and all you want to know is that you've got an audience. The promoters will take you to their town. When I work, 9 people work on the acoustic tour. When I work with the rock band, 12 people work, as well as the theatre star. So I like that idea too. People deserve that. They want to be busy, they want an income, and they've got the wherewithal, as long as I'm busy. And luckily, I love doing it.
So it's going to go on indefinitely?
Yeah, pretty well. You don't really retire from this. It's not a job. It's a vocation in a way, but I don't want to be pretentious. But you don't retire from it. It's the excitement. When I play, Mike, not conscious of it all the time anymore, but years back I was aware that maybe out of the men in the audience, the males, 50% of them probably at one stage of their life, when they were 13, 14, 15, 16, they probably wanted to be doing what I'm doing in front of them. And I never forget that. So I'm not complacent. I realize how lucky I am, how fortunate. Got good health as well, decent constitution, thank God, So I'm aware of every show that I play as if it's the last show I'll ever play in my life. That I give everything. There's quite a few of us like that. I'm not alone in it. It's a sense of pride.
Thanks for saying that. I think that's really brilliant. You can see Steve Harley and his acoustic band then this coming Saturday, May the 20th at the Eric Morecambe Centre in Harpenden. Make it a full house. It'll be a real occasion. Or again on Thursday the 8th of June at the Beck Theatre in Hayes in West London. It's always great listening to you, and thank you for your time again, Steve.
Always a pleasure, Mike. Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
Thank you so much. Steve Harley.